Okay, I think that's good there. The stream is going through there, which is good. Excellent connection. All right. I should put up some music. Is that live? Okay. Okay. Publish. There we go. So now this should show here, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. I'll give people a little bit of time to show up. That's what I'm looking for to show there, right? Yes, okay, cool. Um, okay. Yep, cool. Desktop audio is muted there, which is probably good because Facebook's going to start to blow up in a little bit here. All right. Current viewers. Is this show? Response. Okay. All right. Oh, I should get Translate up on my phone. So I'm going to need Google Translate. Almost definitely. I need the camera as well. All right. Yep, sets up. All right, cool. You're also showing me that it's not just my wife that's seeing things. I'm gonna go ahead and start because it's gonna take a while. But the set is up in Japanese. It's not on IGN yet, so this is the only way we can see the cards. I'm gonna use Google Translate and see where that gets me. I imagine that Discord is probably gonna have the group going, which maybe they aren't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. They've got stuff there, but I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay, so first things first. Avalanche. I'm going to say it's Avalanche Operative. This is a standard unit. When will it be on IGN? We don't know. We just know it's not coming up today. So standard unit, discard a cat 7 character to do 7k to a forward. That's okay. I don't think that's exciting, but like that's decent enough for a standard unit. Ifrit, we've seen Ace as a hero in fire. Okay. Ace is reduced by 1 for each class 0 or fire type character you control. Interesting. At the end of your turn, if your opponent has taken 5 or less, Ace deals them a damage. Weird. And then a special, choose a forward, do 2,000 for each class 0 or fire. So it's either a mono fire payload that does burn when they're not past a certain amount of damage, or it's and it's also like meant to be class 0 cadet support. Huh. I think I like the lightning ace better, but there's not a card like this. There's no can't become 0. If you could get a bunch of fire characters out, you could like play fire as like this burn control deck, and then you just have to do 2 points of damage that aren't from Ace. That's really weird. I don't know how to feel about that one. Cloud. Oh, here's Glenn. So in fire. Interesting. I thought they would be like in non-normal soldier colors. Glenn has Brave. Search for 2 soldiers. And then play 2 soldiers with 2 or less. Okay, he just plays Lucia and Matt without doing anything. This is absurd with Genesis, isn't it? You just go Genesis. If Genesis lives, you play this idiot, and this shits out 2 things. So it's Genesis makes them discard 3 cards. That's a really dumb combo. That doesn't seem like it's very healthy. Okay. I think it's fire characters for Ace. I don't think it's forward. Let me see. エースをキャストするたらコストのあなたの Job class 0. Yeah, it's characters on Ace. So if you have 6 characters, he's free. It's either 6 class 0s or 6 fires. Here's our backups. Oh, that's just a good card. This is just an improvement on human. When it enters the field, you can either choose a forward, do it 5,000 damage, or draw a card. Really simple text, but really good. This is a really strong card. I think we've seen Sice, right? Yeah, we have. Okay. The job on this is standard unit, I believe. Yeah, standard unit job. Just like Shinra Soldier or something like that. Salamander. Its card name Gutsko at all times. Enters the field or attacks. When it enters the field or attacks, you can pay a shitload of stuff or crystals. When you do so, you... Eureka has a translation on this. ETB or attack, pay 3 fire, 2 colorless. If you do so, choose 2 forwards, deal them 9k. So you can either pay 5 to do 9k to 2, or 2 crystals to do 9k to 2. It's okay. Here's the Palom. We didn't have a Deuce before, right? That's she's new. What are we doing here? She's Urianger. Top 4 cards out of class 0. Put the rest in the bottom of the deck in any order. That's really good. Class 0 Cadets needs this. Deuce is not a contested name. She's not a tutor. She's Reveal 3. She's Urianger. Class 0 Cadets are kind of looking okay. We saw Trey already. Palom is new. He's a backup. Tap, discard, choose a forward. You discard a card to do 3k to a forward. Or you discard a Palom. Or no, discard a Porum to do 7k. So tap, discard any card, do 3k. Tap, discard a Porum, do 7. He's fine. Might actually see a bit of play in Water Fire over the old Palom. 4k really doesn't matter most of the time. We've seen Hell House. We've seen Volker. Rubicante we've seen. We've seen Machina. We've seen Red. Okay, that's it for Fire. So Glenn seems absurd. The backup cycle this set is really good. This thing's absurd. Ace is really interesting. Deuce is really cool. I don't think it's that big of a deal, Rat Boy. I actually like the fact that, like, it's interesting to try to see that wedge come together. And I think, honestly, what you probably can do is, like, a pick 2 of 3 for him. Ace is Fire and Class 0 Cadet support. So he costs 6, but reduced by 1 for every Class 0 Cadet or Fire character you control. If your opponent has 5 or less damage taken, they deal them a point of damage in the end phase, kind of like a Sophie. And it has a special that does 2,000 damage for each Fire character or Class 0 Cadet you control. So he's both mono Fire support and Class 0 Cadet support. Pretty neat design, actually. Alright, Ice's turn. Okay, we've seen all those. We are just shitting out Kurisames, aren't we? This one has a burst that's relevant, maybe. Warp 2. It's a pretty cheap warp, actually. When Kurasame enters the field, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add a forward from among them to your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Honestly, not bad. Like, if you're playing another Kurasame and you don't want to run, like, this is a EX burst Kurasame, which is really good considering that, like, the Opus 22 one has the special. And this might even be worth playing in warp decks, like in the Vayne Tidus deck. Like, you might actually play this guy because he does pay for himself if you just warp him as opposed to pay the 6, and the EX burst is nice. That's like an okay card, I think. Chadley in Ice. That is not what I expected. Hero Chadley, okay. When a forward you control is put in the break zone from the field, place a research counter on Chadley. It can only be activated during your opponent's turn once per turn. Pay Ice and 1. Remove 3 research counters from Chadley. Choose a forward with cost 4 or less in your break zone. Play it to the field. Chadley, Kara. Oh. Huh. That's a really cool card. I don't know if it's any good, but it's really cool. So, anytime one of your forwards dies, he gets a counter. And you can tap and pay 3 without sacrificing him. And they have to die during your opponent's turn. And when they do that, you get to just revive any forward of cost 4 or less in your break zone. This might be one of the best aggro backups ever printed, honestly. Like, this could just revive like your opponent has to kill your forwards in an aggro deck or they're gonna die, and he can just keep them coming, or just like revive like a Greg for a pretty cheap cost. That's a really cool card. I like that. I think that's really neat. Knight. That's unfortunate that it's name Knight. It's not going to get the ability. Okay, it's not discard. Choose a forward, dull it, draw a card. These backups are all insane. I cannot believe they printed these. What are they thinking? This thing is really good. Wow. Okay. Nuge. First of all, this is incredible art. He's a rare. 4-cost backup. Search for a Gipple or Barroweye. And add it to your hand. Tap and sack it. Do 5k to all your opponent's dull forwards. This is another Icewind backup engine. So the new generic backups are modal. They're 3-cost backups. It's either draw a card or do something related to the element. So the ice one is discard or dull a forward your opponent controls, and the fire one is do 5,000 damage. So they're strict upgrades in non-mono decks over the Opus 24 backups that we're already seeing play. So another, and this is Medius. Remove an ice backup from. Choose a dull forward and up to one other forward. Break the former, dull freeze the latter. Okay. That seems decent. I don't know how much ice wants to remove backups. But the lack of a timing restriction on this makes it really interesting to compare with Zalera from last set as like a removal type of option in ice. This is a good card. I like it. It's a very good card, actually. We've seen Borgin, we've seen her, we've seen Yuna, we've seen Len. Camelot. Oh, it was Shuyan LB. New art. This is gonna have a full art, isn't it? Yeah, wow. Okay, this is gorgeous, by the way. Holy shit. So this is our hero LB. LB1. 5 cost. Oh, thank fuck they banned Chaos. Holy, you can't print that on a card. Discard a card on entry, search a dark forward. Holy shit. Like, it is so hard to search dark forwards. I don't know if people realize that. Chaos already was considering playing Ice for Gilgamesh BE. Like, this is clearly meant to play with Vegnagun. Like, that's the lore thing. He would not have been played in Vegnagun. This is just a freaking Luna Freya that can't miss. Holy shit. Honestly, he still actually... he might even see play in, like, Earth, Water, Chaos Arc. Like, you just play him off with Tyro. Wow, they really did not think Chaos was going to be a problem when they were designing this shit. I mean, the body is really small, and it is like paying 5 CP to search for a dark forward, but like from the LB deck, that's crazy. Like, unironically, does that make Neo Exdeath good? If you go like turn 1, any backup, like say you go Lufenian, going first. Turn 2, pitch, play, pitch. Pitch, Neo Exdeath, is that good? You can't get Famfritted. The thing with saying like they thought L3 only is that Raijin and Fujin were printed in L3. They were one set ahead of it. Okay. That is absurd. Also, these are matching arts, aren't they? Like they're meant to be paired together. That's really cool. Wind. All right, come on. Come on, Kageyama-san. Show me some fun stuff. Okay, we got a king to pair with our queen. It's a rare. When the king enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls, returns to their hand. If you control 5 or more Class 0 cadets, put that card on the bottom of the deck. I mean, it's decent removal. I just don't think it's really worth doing. Yeah, it's fine. I think like you would just play Garuda over this probably. Yeah. We've seen Cater. Okay, so we have Chocobo. Another Chocobo summon. That's really relevant. Chocobo. It's not Chocobo Chick. It's just Chocobo. Same text can be reduced by 2. Uh, 2,000 damage to all the forwards your opponent controls. Play a forward at the cost 2 or less from your hand onto the field. Hmm. I don't know what to think of that. There's neat stuff you can do with this. 2K Cleave, my first impression is it's not relevant, but like this is a way to pay 3 CP and then back attack a 2 CP forward on your opponent's turn. Doesn't have any restrictions, doesn't have to be a wind forward, just has to be a forward of cost 2. From your hand, forward of cost 2. Yeah, just play a forward of cost 2. Like, you could use the Dane to rip a card from your opponent's hand. I wonder if that is cost 2 or less. Is it 2 or less? I can't tell. 2 or less. Zazat always comes to mind with effects that cheap things in. You could rip your opponent's hand on their turn by playing that. And this is searchable off of Chocobo Sam. That's really interesting. I'm going to say activate a backup. Oh, no. Can't be blocked. Can't be blocked or draw a card. Or can't be blocked if a forward to cost 4 or higher. Yeah, I mean, Fire Winds at Ane's going to come to people's mind, but, like... there's other things you can do with it as well. It's interesting. Sid Highwind! When Sid... 5 cost backup hero. Interesting. I just realized. Search for 2 Category 7 forwards. Put them in your hand. Damage 5. Sacrifice them. Play a cat 7 forward from your hand onto the field. Can only be used during your turn. So this is meant to play the new Cloud, I guess. But this is just really good. Like, Yuffie is still one of the best defensive line things that Wind can play. This searches Yuffie and Yuffie. Does it say different names? No, it doesn't say different names. So you can search Yuffie and Yuffie, which is really good. Searches Cloud. Searches Barret. Yeah, this just seems really solid. It's a crazy Cloud Pod card. You search for a Barret and a Cloud. And you're in Wind a little bit anyway for Cloud Pod stuff, and Sid's not that bad of a name to lose for Cloud Pod. Yeah, that's... It's a backup that says search for 2 things. Those have not been... Historically, those have not been very healthy. Theodore and common. Has Warp 2. Can't be broken by abilities. Choose a card with Warp in your break zone added to your hand on entry. So it's like Warp support. So can't be broken by abilities that don't... It'll say, like, can't be broken by abilities that don't do damage. And then, yeah, add back a character with Warp in the break zone. So yeah, like Icewind is still meant to be the Warp thing. We've seen Chocobo already. We've seen Nine. We've seen Barbarisha. Yuffie in common. 2 CP haste. When she attacks, place a Shuriken counter. When she's blocked, deal 4,000 damage to the forward blocking Yuffie for each Shuriken counter, then remove all the Shuriken counters. She is garbage. Rem is the legend. Interesting. Lucia, end of each of your turns, activate all your soldiers. Dull 3 soldiers, draw a card only on your turn. So the gimmick of the Ever Crisis soldiers is you're supposed to play Glenn. Glenn searches Matt and Lucia and plays them to the field for free. And then Matt and Lucia both have abilities that happen when you dull soldiers. And then if you have Sephiroth in play, they all gain first strike and they have other abilities. It's really interesting. I have no idea how good that'll be. I have legitimately, that could be terrible or it could be broken as all fuck. Mandragora we've seen already. Rem, Wind Legend. When Rem enters the field, pay X. When you do search for a class 0 with cost X other than Rem, put it on the field. And you can tap and sack her to activate all of your class 0 cadets. So she's a hope, but instead of being, like, kind of having the weird semi-warp effect, she could just reactivate all of your cadets. My first impression is I don't really love it. For, like, the same reasons that, like, Angeal struggles, like, I really don't love it. Yeah, search for any class 0 cadet and just shit it on the field, but you have to pay the cost immediately. So it's like Rahatia or Hope. But, like, I think Graha is, like, one of the weakest Scions. And I think that, like Angeal and Hope, like, read really well initially and just have proven to be terrible. So, I don't know. It does just play the Lightning Ace and then immediately draw a card. That's, like, really cool. And then, like, you have the cadet in play at that point. Weird. Yeah, I don't know what to make on this one. Because one nice thing is the target you want to play from the deck is actually an even cost, probably. Or it's a backup, which is, like, fine. I wish she would just search and add it to your hand, honestly. Like, if she just 3 CP search, add a class 0 cadet to your hand, I'd like it a lot more than having to pay the kicker, because the kicker makes her so much more vulnerable to, like, a Mott and stuff. And that's the Emperor, I believe. In Wind. I don't think he's ever been in Wind before. Okay, Kageyama. How are you going to break my heart this time? Okay. So the text on the Emperor: when your opponent adds a card from their break zone to their hand, you draw a card. When your opponent searches, you draw a card. your opponent adds a card from the graveyard to their hand, draw a card. When your opponent searches, draw a card. How relevant is that? I mean, this is hilarious if you're against, like, a Fire Water Realm deck. They go for Realm, they play the Goblin from deck, you just draw 2 cards while they're doing their thing. Like, I feel like if you draw twice off of this, it's really good. So, how hard is it to keep a 5k on field until your opponent either draws twice or it's got to go specifically to the hand? It specifically has to go to the hand. So, like, if your opponent just, like, Alize's out in Y'shtola, that doesn't work either. It might be a decent aggro play as, like, a turn 1 thing. Like, you just discard 3, dump this guy on the field, and your opponent, when they're trying to set up, you just draw cards. It's a 5 CP. Or no, it's 3. Oh, never mind. This card's actually crazy. I thought it was 5 CP. Yeah, this is really good then. This is, like, insane. Yeah, I thought it was 5. No, 3 CP. This is, like... There's an argument, like, an aggro deck that's playing against, like, a Refia or something is just gonna dump this on their hand on turn... Like, genuine question, if you're playing Mono Wind, do you just go back up into this against Refia? With the assumption that they're not going to kill it quickly? And maybe you draw 3 cards while the Refia player is setting up? Which gets you into, like, a Zidane thing better? Now, the downside is that LB2 is a huge problem. But this doesn't have to be a mono win card. What if Refia plays this for the mirror? So you go first, you play the thing, your opponent's on Refia, you see they're on Refia, you play this by discarding Warrior of Light, now your opponent, while they're setting up, like, all of your backups search or add cards to hand in some way, and this just kind of wins the game for you? In the mirror, like, you have to Brynhildr that? Okay. And like, Refia is a deck that's very happy going LB2, because it wants to go Lunafreya plus a 1 cost. So this fits right into that game plan. It just, like, what slot does this go in over? Like, do you cut, like, the Vajradhara Wu or, like, the Noctis for this? Yeah, like, it's going to get Brynhildr a lot, but, like, if they don't have the Brynhildr, this is effectively, like, a way of just saying you don't get to play the game without me winning off of you playing it. Okay, it's Homos. Yeah. Three cost, choose a forward, does 1,000 damage to it for every card in your break zone. With the normal, like, the whole cycle does the remove an earth back from the game to do damage. That seems pretty okay. There are decks that would... Any Bosch deck is going to play this card. I don't know about the others, though. So, yeah, cool card.
Is this going to be me on Discord? It's with the open mouth.
What open mouth?
The...
Oh.
It's a new Tome Race. It looks like it's that card.
Okay, so this is... that. It's exactly what we thought the Earth one of the cycle was going to be. Discard an Earth card, choose a forward, give it 1,000 power. Earth and Sacrifice, choose a forward, give it 2,000 power. It's going to be really decent and limited. It's completely unplayable and constructed. Wall is our other Earth legend. Job is Warrior of Light. I can tell you that immediately. It's Warrior of Light Monk. That's horrifying. That is not a type line that I ever wanted to see in my entire life. Remove 3 Earth cards from your break zone. Action ability. Choose an Earth attribute forward you control. Dull it. It cannot be broken until the end of the turn. Mirage Fist. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add up to 1 card. Special. Top 3 cards of your deck. Add 2 of them to your hand, except for Wall. Put the rest in your break zone. So the special is absurd. Like, I can immediately say that. The protection is good in Mono Earth, but not great in Refia. Because Refia is not going to have enough Earth cards to keep it live, and it's only protecting himself or 4-color Warrior of Light, who are not your power cards. It protects Une, but Une is like a 1-of right now. But in Mono Earth, this protects every single forward that your opponent tries to break. And you probably have like a dead backup in your breaks and you don't mind sacrificing. Special is really good. Like, the dream here is you get like Une on field with this in Mono Earth and you just kind of win the game. Really good in Earth Water as well, like Une. Yeah, it's Wall. The Mobius guy. Yeah, I'll have to think on that one. That one's hard to evaluate. Cutter Machine enters the field. Oh, we've seen this guy. Yeah. I remember this one. Looks like Dull Forward. Choose a Dull Forward with 7,000 power or less and break it. That's actually really good. And that's Black Belt. It's not Monk. I think. But that's just a good backup. That's a good card. Is that just general? Just general. Okay. Has a burst. Okay, so it's got Brave. When General leaves the field, choose a non-general job warrior in your break zone. Add it to your hand. General cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons. And if it's dealt damage by summons, that becomes 0 instead. And the job is warrior, I believe. Yeah, so it's a warrior, 5-cost Earth warrior. Can't be chosen by summons. Doesn't take damage from summons. When it leaves the field, add a warrior from your break zone to your hand. That doesn't read particularly well to me. I mean, Earth Fire Monk or Earth Fire Warriors is kind of a thing. You could search this with Tyvis, but you can't play it off of Tyvis. And like, he doesn't do anything until he leaves the field. So not really feeling this guy, despite the really sick mono art. We've seen all of that. We've seen the Tifa. Riku in Earth again. Riku enters the field. Play a backup with 3 or less, cost 3 or less from your hand to the field. Whenever a backup enters your field, all the category 10 forwards you control gain 10,000 power to the end of the turn, and she is a job warrior. Gullwing warrior. Play it. She costs 3. She's cost 3. Motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, she's really good. This is higher value than Mog in some ways to be deployed off of Tyvis. This is more CP. Because she's 3 CP herself. If she plays a backup, that's another 3 CP. Yeah, this is really good. Or like you play Mog, and the next turn you play her, and you play her, you get like a you play a 3 CP backup, you draw a card, and you just kind of win the game. Yeah. Okay. My spoiler, hi, and the hero is Sarah Mobius. God, this game has gorgeous art. Princess Kurima Shon Crimson Archer. Princess on forwards doesn't matter very much, though, especially not from the LB deck. LB2. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Mobius to your hand, place the rest in the break zone. And you tap her to make your next Mobius cost 2 less. Why did we leave Raijin format? Like, why is Raijin legal? Can anybody answer that? This is just another Raijin enabler. Like I've been playing at locals a lot, a FF12 self-mill deck. You just throw her in there. Mill 4. I don't know if, like, Mobius 8 is a thing, but... Like, the text is really good. I don't know what deck is playing enough Mobius to want this card. I think. And I don't think that Wall and Maya are good enough to make me just play a Mobius deck. So that's my impression there. Art is incredible. Like, this is one of the. I wish this was in full art. Like the Mobius art when Mobius art is good is so much better than like every other art in the game. Okay, so here's the common monster. Okay, well, that's better than the water one. You do 1,000 damage to it for, but you also dull it. And the one in sack is the same thing. 1,000 damage to forward and dull it. Soiree is not Mobius. Soiree is BE. Soiree is Brave Exvius. Mobius has some good stuff. I'd have to look at what Mobius looks like after this. We've seen this. We've seen Guard Scorpion. Oh my god! They printed an Amaranth again! I thought this character was forgotten about. Holy cow. Hold on, I gotta tag a friend. Hold up. Alright, is he any good? 5,000 damage to all your opponent's active forwards. And he still sucks. Okay. No, he just does 5,000 damage to all your opponent's active forwards. Honestly, very funny against knights. Like, they go Corilla, you go Amaranth, you kill their last well and they're like Beatrix or whatever they hit. You're never playing this idiot. Let's just be totally honest. Jack, EX Burst. This is a common. Choose a forward, dull it. If you have 5 cadets, break it. Special is break it forward. So, this is harder to line up because you have to get 5 cadets. But the payoff's really good. Like, you need 4 cadet backups plus Jack, and you get an EX Burst Merrill. There's potential with this one. I think this guy has some. He's got some potential. Choose a forward at the cost 2 or less, do it 7,000 damage, or draw a card. All of these backups are absurd. All of them are absurd. When he dies, pay 1, play any soldier candidate from your deck. Honestly, it's okay. This might be like a playable Pauper archetype, but I don't think it's a actual deck. That is a Black Mage Pain, isn't it? Is that Black Mage? Black Mage Pain. So Yuna and Pain are both Black Mages, and Riku is randomly a warrior. Okay, let's take a look. She's a forward your opponent controls, cost 3 or less, do 7,000 damage to it, so break a small forward. Whenever a forward your opponent controls is put in the break zone from the field, give a category 10 forward haste. That's just generically pretty good, honestly. Like, the Black Mage deck absolutely plays 3 copies of her. Like, you just play her, break something small, she gives herself haste. You also probably play the Yuna as well now. That's 2 more Black Mage names that can go with the others. Vivi can get her back. Yeah, this is a good card. That is just a good card. Like, this is playable outside of Black Mages or Goldwings, honestly. It's just like a 3 CP, kill something, gain haste. It's like if Alba didn't have burst, but didn't have the hoops to jump through the player. Barroweye. We've seen the art for this, we haven't seen the effect. When Barroweye enters the field, choose a forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. Pay 5 and sack Barroweye to break a 4-cost forward. So it's like the classic weird recursion lightning backups that are like solid, like 3 CP to get back any forward is really good. Really overcosted break effect, but you probably wouldn't say no to that, honestly. Elena's going to be the LB. Elena's 100% the LB. We've seen Vivi, we've seen Adril Mech, we've seen Rude. Elena's not the LB. It's Sephiroth. LB4. 8 cost. So this is hopefully an apology for Edge. That's what we're hoping for here. Hopefully this is an apology for Edge. Let's take a look. When Sephiroth enters the field or attacks, dull all the forwards other than Sephiroth. At the end of your turn, choose a dull forward other than Sephiroth and break it. Huh. I think that's Job Soldier. Or no, it's Job War Hero. Job War Hero. When Sephiroth enters the field or attacks, Subite is all, so it dulls every forward. So that's annoying because he dulls your own shit. And I think that second effect is mandatory. Focus. Choose a dull forward other. So if you're the only one with forwards, you do have to break them. I think that's a lot better than Edge. All forwards. I think this is significantly stronger than Edge is. So, like, if you play this guy uninterrupted, he breaks any forward on the field. Right? And your opponent has to get rid of him. Like, your opponent can't let him sit out there, right? and this is like Cloud hits anything that's small. But if your opponent plays an Une, you can play Sephiroth, which dulls the Une, and then kills him. I mean, yeah, he dies to a Mott, but like he's a 6 CP forward that like kind of does a Neo X Death thing from the LB deck. And Lightning is not like outside of running 2 Cloud, Lightning is not very heavily contested in the LB deck at all. Like Cloud is the only really good Lightning LB. I think he sees play at minimum because unlike Camlinot, this is an LB that just breaks any forward. There's conditions, there's problems with it, but he does say break any forward. If you compare this with like any activation as well, like if you're on like Water Lightning, you play like a Miwa, could be really strong too as like a finisher. Well, yeah, Amat shuts it down, but like Amat shuts down everything. Like that's not really if you could say, oh, just run Lulu and he doesn't die to Amat, and then like if your opponent has dull forwards, you still get to break them. Like you can't Amat the end of phase trigger because it's in the end phase. You can't manually add to the stack. I think it's a really interesting card, and yeah, like every single LB dies to Amat. Like if you get Amatted on Tidus, you feel terrible. Like you just spent 8 CP and did nothing. I don't think he's broken, but I think he's really strong. Like, I think the big thing to me is I see an LB out to Une. And that is unique enough to be really interesting. But no Elena. And we were through ice already, too. Quattro Queen. That's new. Pictologica Waff. Choose a Waff forward, give it 1,000 power. Okay. I don't know if there are even any Waff forwards in the set for limited, but Kurakin 3. The cost of casting a summon or monster is reduced by 1. Can't become 0. When Kraken enters the field, choose a backup your opponent controls, removed from the game for as long as Kraken is on the field. That is the weirdest combination of lines of text I think I've ever read. Remove a backup from, like... I mean, this is meant to kill Lena. Right? Like, you target Lena, they don't get Lena, it doesn't do anything. It's Job Kraken. The summon reduction is really strong, but not on a 4 cost. In a lot of Water's best monsters, you're playing... I mean, I guess, like, it's nice you could play a Blue Worm for 1 and draw a card. Like, turning your Blue Worms into Sahagin, or, Kalos is really good. But man, like, this effect seems really, really bad in the wrong scenarios, because, like, if you target, like, a Tyro, the moment they kill this, the Tyro re-enters play. They get another search once the Tyro comes back. Yeah, the backup comes back dull, but it's not like it phases it out in Magic. It removes it from play and then puts it back there when it leaves. That is not ideal. I think, like, you have to be against a backup that does not have an entry ability for this to be amazing. It's kind of cute against Fat Chocobo, against Mono Wind. God, against like Warriors or Knights, like, it would be horrible. This card is so bad against Knights. Holy cow. Lena, any of the free play backups, you just can, like, kind of remove a backup while this guy is out there. It's like permanently freezing it. I'm not really a fan. I think that's just kind of eh. Yeah, they can play another backup to take its place, but like also like when it comes back, you stifle curves like a dull freeze a bit, yeah, but like for 4 CP, you target your own backups. Now, backup opponent controls. Only opponent controls. You can't use it to flicker your own. I think that's just outright bad. Corsair. Bounce a forward of cost 2 or less. When Corsair enters the field from the break zone, draw a card? How are we supposed to do that? What? Huh? Corsair ga break zone kara firu ni hairu. So if it goes from the break zone to the field, draw. It's not the other way around. That's very strange. Like the text is okay, but like, why am I reanimating that over something else? I mean, it's really good with I guess Warrior of Light, the Opus 23 one, but yeah, there's some standard unit reanimation. Draw a card or fuck off. Add a 1 cost forward in your breaks under your hand. It's Leo support. It's Leo support. I don't want to play against Leo. Leo is one of my least favorite decks in the entire game. If a forward would be dealt damage by your opponent's abilities, reduce it by 2,000 instead. He's garbage. I've seen Tidus. Dr. Sid. Forward. I think this guy was a backup before, right? Can only be paid with water CP. When he enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls that costs 4 or less, put on the bottom of the deck. When a forward your opponent controls leaves the field, draw a card, then discard 1 from your hand. Can only be activated once per turn. Huh. Spin an opponent's forward. That's really good. Like, this actually could see play as like against Refia. You cycle your deck, fill your break zone for Lena Lev, and you put a Refia or like a Zidane on the bottom of the deck so they can't. Refia has to shuffle the deck to search it. It's decent. I've seen all of these. Rosa. Looking lovely in her After Years 3D render. Search for a Cecil or a Theodore. To the end of the turn, Rosa, Cecil's, and Theodore, sorry, can't be chosen by summons or abilities. Really good in title. Probably not going to see play in standard. But not far off playable, honestly. It's a pretty decent common. Holy shit, Leonora got the LB. When Leonora enters the field, choose a category 4 forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. Choose a category 4 forward other than Leonora. When it would be dealt damage this turn, the next time it would be dealt damage, it becomes 0 instead. This is just Rydia support. This was just made for Rydia. Gets back Iridia, powers up Iridia. Graph. Mobius. Grand General is the job. When Graph enters the field, choose a forward you control, remove it from the game. When Graph attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls, give it minus 4,000 power until the end of the turn. It's okay. I think that the other water LBs are too much stronger than Graf to really consider playing it. Leonora is really good. I think like you're never playing this over Leo or Luna Freya or Tidus. It's like okay, you could remove a blue worm from the game after it attacks, but I don't see that being a thing. Light, we've seen all those. We've seen all the darks. They really didn't print an Elena. Like I didn't miss an Elena. There just isn't one. Yeah. Huh. Weird. Okay. Let's go from the top real quick. For anybody that's just joining the stream, I'm gonna give my like last first impressions, and I'm gonna let the actual English translations come out. Ace is really powerful. Don't know how much play he's gonna see. We haven't had a card like this before. But like if a mono fire control deck exists that wants to play a slow game, Ace is really good at that. Glenn reads absurd. He is better Takatsugu, effectively. Hallam will see play. All of these standard unit backups are crazy. Can't believe they were printed. Deuce is cool. I don't think Salamander 3 sees any play. Yeah, I don't think Fire got a huge buff here. For Ice, Kurosame is actually a decent little common. Chadley's really cool. I think this card is really cool. Nuge is okay. I don't think it's great. Medius is really solid. This is actually a really good removal summon. Again, the backup's absurd. And Shuyin is crazy good. Shuyin is so good. Any deck that plays a Dark Forward plays this guy. In Wind, Chocobo has a lot of potential. I don't know the ramifications of Chocobo existing yet. Sid Highwind is very strong. Very, very good card. Very good. Even in like mono wind, this guy might see play if Yuffie ever slides back in. Lucia is really solid as well. Being able to trade all of your, especially be like with the way that Glenn wants to play. You play Glenn very early. You go pitch, pitch, pitch. Play Glenn. Play Matt and Lucia after searching both of them. Dull all of them into Lucia. Draw a card. Activate them all with Lucia at the end of the turn. So she kind of reduces the cost of your Glenn by 1. I think that this package is very likely strong to broken. In the same way that Knights are, except everything is tutorable in this package. You probably play Fire Ice so you can get Genesis in there. Like if you resolve Glenn with Genesis in play, you've won the game. Like the game is over. You could just scoop it up. The Emperor is really cool and really strong. I think this card is really, really good. This card will see a lot of play. I think it'll see play outside of Wind specifically. But in non-mono Wind decks that are playing Wind cards, I think you'll see a copy of this guy in most LB decks. Really like the design space on its Homos. Not sure how much play it'll see. Earth has a lot of these like really interesting modals, like summons that like can scale up to kill big things under the right conditions, and a lot of them have struggled to see play in the past. I'm thinking stuff like the starter deck Titan in Opus 18. I think it almost falls in the tradition with cards like that. Even with the cost reduction by removing it back from the game, I really don't like it enough to think it sees play. Wall is a very scary, very interesting card. Not really sure what to make of it. Has a lot of potential in a lot of different decks. I think its best partner is going to be Une. Because Une, I think, is one of the biggest win conditions in the game, and being able to, for a very low cost, say Une can't be broken is really good. I don't think there's enough good Earth walls, but that special is otherwise like really, really strong. Being able to pay 3 CP to add 2 cards to hand is about as good as it possibly gets. The backup's really good as well. Again, all of these backups are really good. Not a huge fan of General. Am a huge fan of Riku. I'm going over the stuff that hasn't been spoiled. Riku reads absurd to me. Even outside, even in Gullwings, honestly, because you could cheat her in off of Huna. Like you could play like Ice Lightning Black Mages with a copy of Riku and just cheat her in off of Yuna, and that would be a way of developing like a what's a 3-cost white ice or lightning bat like a restrictor off of this would be really good, or like a Reeve, right? You can also play Kate Sith in Ice Lightning Black Mages and use that to rip a card from your opponent's hand on their turn. Just reads really strong to me. Sarah Mobius is really good. I don't think anything plays her. But being able to dig 4 for a Mobius card and then reduce the cost of one by 2 by tapping her does have a lot of potential. I think this is a card to keep an eye on. Does not make a deck by herself yet. In Lightning, Jack is really cool. Makes a nice little payoff for cadets that did not exist before this. As far as like, I think like the critical mass cadets, this is the best one they've ever had by far. I think that the more I think about it, Amaranth actually is not terrible, especially if this is Monk and not Martial Artist right here. Like, there's maybe some weird potential there. Really like Soldier Candidate. I don't think it's a deck, but it's a cool card. Pain is really strong. Has incidental synergy with both Gullwings and Black Mages, but also is just a generally pretty good card that I think will see play somewhere, even if it's just 3 copies of Pain. Barley, really, really nice card. Does not have a burst. Has a lot of other text that's really valuable. Sephiroth, really interesting. Has a lot of potential. Also has a lot of potential to go wrong. I think this is the legend that Lightning was missing when Edge was spoiled. Edge came out and was not a good card. But I do think this replaces Edge as the potential big thing you can do in mono Lightning decks. And especially like Water Lightning, I think really likes them because you can play stuff like Miwa, for instance. Also pairs really well in Ice Lightning. I know that the name is going to be really contested in Ice, but if you can dull all of your opponent's stuff, you can then proceed to freeze it with your other stuff, which is really strong. But pairs really well there too because you can go Surges, Sephiroth for your LB if you're mapping your LB out. Kraken is really weird. I don't think it's very good, but I could be wrong because we haven't seen cards like this before. Corsair, White Mage is really, really strange. I don't know why they're supporting 1-cost or like Roulette Leo, but they are. Also really good in Mira decks, 1-cost Mira. Dr. Sid is cool. I don't know what makes room for him, but I think he is probably not far off of playable. Rose is good, really bad name. No, you could Sephiroth once and then go Surges. Oh, LB4. It's not LB3. Oh. So you do Sephiroth and Cloud. Weird. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's the first LB4. I'm just so used to LB being 1, 2, or 3, or 7. Interesting. Okay. Graph, I don't think is very good. Uh, I think the cost of sacrificing a forward is probably too much for this guy to be worth it in the best LB element in the entire game. I do think Leonora is really good. I think Leonora is uh, absolutely an absurd card. Don't know if Rydia is ever going to be good enough, but this is the best card Rydia could have ever gotten. Like Rydia was unironically considering playing like Golbez already, just to have an LB that like would power her up, or like Yang, but just have an LB that costs 5 to do something. This both gets back Rydia's from the break zone to the hand and powers up a Rydia if you have one on field. It's good. It's really good. The tap and sack effect doesn't really matter in this context. And we've seen all the lights, seen all the darks. Thoughts on the set as a whole? I think cadets are going to need a lot of testing. There's a lot that makes you want to play 3-color cadets. There's also the potential for cadets to be any two, pick 2, and you play the 2 colors that you want: fire, lightning, fire, wind, or wind, lightning, and you ignore your 3rd color. Everybody's going to rush to break soldiers. I think soldiers are very clearly stupid and going to be really good. I think Earth, Fire, FF7 is going to be extremely potent. I think that like Barret and Cloud are absurdly strong pushes to that deck, especially next to Zac, who you can poach because of Earth's access to other elements and Cloud's ability to deploy him from hand. I think that Refia did not get many tools. Like, none of the summons screamed this is a Refia card to me, which is probably a good thing. Something is going to break Yuna. Yuna is too good to not see play somewhere. Tidus is really good. This card will be a force to be reckoned with in Mono Water. I think he'll be really good in Wind Water. I think there's a lot of decks that he will see play in. But I think this card is really strong. Obviously, the Archfiends are something interesting that'll need to be solved as well, and people need to figure out other things there. I don't think Mobius is a deck. I could be wrong. I think the Opus 19 Maya is a really strong card. You have a really easy way of going Earth Water because of Wall and New Maya. And I think that, like, Sarah Mobius is almost good enough to consider that. Like, Sarah Mobius, turn 1, then go Maya. And you still have access to Sophie, like, multiple different types of Sophies. Warriors are really strong. I'm going to have a full set review at some point. When I get to that full set review, I'm going to talk about Warriors. I think there's a lot of interesting things to talk about with Warriors. But I think Riku is unironically maybe the biggest buff Warriors got this set. I think that card is really, really strong. I think people are sleeping on how good Rude and Reno are as well. I think there's a lot of extra potential there that people maybe aren't considering. Very interesting set. Very interesting set. Sid Highwind is this card's really good too. The only thing that I don't like about Sid Highwind is that I think Earth Fire makes the most sense for FF7, but this is Wind. Maybe you still play Wind, honestly, for Sid Highwind. Maybe you go 4-color. Like 4-color control using like 3 Sid Highwind, Elfie, Jije, Jesse, and you just run Tyro for your water. I don't think there's a water. I mean, you could run Kyrie if you really wanted to run an FS7 backup for water, but I don't think Kyrie is particularly good. But, yeah, wow. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. And hopefully we get English translations soon so that we can actually have corrections on things and we can do some deck building. Thanks for watching.